Absolutely. All right. Hey, how you doing, Meb?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Alvin and is it Turner?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Oh, hi. I'm doing well. I'm doing
Oh,
well.
Good.
I
okay.
just
So, real quick. So, a couple things.
mhm,
We don't attack people. We attack trains of thought
right.
and and arguments. Okay. We don't use the N word over here, and we don't insult people. Okay. We keep it real respectful around here. Go on both sides. We're definitely open for discussion, so on and so forth. So, you respect us, we respect you. I don't know what side of the thing you lie on, but we treat everybody the same around here. So go on ahead.
All right. Thank.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So what are your thoughts? Is this new to you? Have you heard of this before?
Well, I'm familiar with the history that slavery was akin to the trade in terms of the Atlantic or well, the process, the logistics of getting from Africa to America at some point in time that was restricted. And um, Blacks were in breeding farms, quote unquote breeding farms. And so it was a matter of breeding for the selected genetics in terms of the biggest, say for instance, the strongest man with the most fertile woman, because it's just like today, I guess you would say your meat industry or for a lack of an example. Um,
I mean, it's a perfect example. That's exactly what it was.
mhm. And so, with that being said, I guess when you're in that particular situation, when you're not familiar with you don't control any aspects of your lives, then you can't have, I say, a connection with the next person. You probably would never want, as a woman, you don't want, somebody, kind of, imposed on you in the first place. That's kind of a very horrible situation, I can imagine.
I
But
agree.
not having any say so on who's with you, you kind of get what I'm saying. As a woman,
100%.
you don't have the strength to fight it off. You don't have the capacity to have any control over your body. I think it was a survival mode. So I don't think the men or the women had a say so in what happened to them. From my understanding, at that period in time, our ancestors didn't even make it to 30 years of age. Um, so with that being said, and that being the um, I guess the structure for so many years, there would be um, I would say a space to feel unsafe if those things are happen to you. So I just think it's a particular trauma. You know,
Yeah. So here's the question that I asked. So do you think that because at that time, right? I understand it's a survival tactic and a survival situation, right? Where you might not, if you don't accept whatever massa puts in front of you, then he's going to go on ahead and end your life, right?
mhm.
But do you understand how now in 2022, you know it seems as though the lovely ladies, this is how I like to describe you guys, is just being, you guys seem to be making the same decisions, even though the circumstances have changed.
I
Do you,
wouldn't.
do you, do you, do you, do you feel like that's the same, or do you not
No,
really?
I wouldn't say that it's the majority of women. I think it's a subculture of women, maybe the subculture of women that are, maybe are kind of influenced by, I guess commercial programming, like
Mm,
maybe Sex in the, all that Sex in the City, and that particular, I guess, how the subculture is kind of influenced by rap, that type of.
So real quick. So you think that the reason why 8 out of 10 Black kids are born to single mothers is because of rap music?
I think it's a subculture. And maybe
8 out of 10 is not a subculture. It's the culture.
I think it's a subculture.
8 out of 10 is not a subculture. It is the culture.
You have to show me that. I don't believe it, because
you can look at blackdemographics.com,
like
studies in the CDC. You can look at the CDC information. CDC statistics will tell you that 7 out of 10, I was being hyperbolic, but 7 out of 10 Black children are being born to single mothers.
And is that single mothers who have been divorced, single mothers
born out of wedlock, not married?
Not married. Okay, divorce or wedlock and different stuff.
Out of wedlock, not married.
Okay, and also I can say that I think, in my opinion, I feel that men control marriage. They control a lot of the temperament of the relationship from what I know. And I feel that some men intentions is not their intentions on having a family and being married. That's not every man's intention when he meet or date a woman.
What makes you say that?
Because I know. I know.
Okay, let me help you out a little bit. So real quick, let me help you out a little bit, because see, we all have anecdotal evidence of things, right? We've all have our own experiences of things. Right. The data shows different. The data, the majority of Black men right now are single with no kids. The majority of Black men, meaning like better than 50% of us. Okay.
No, that's not true.
That is very true.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so here's once again, real quick.
Doesn't make sense.
Once again, here's the thing.
No, that's not true, and that's not true. That's not true.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So what we don't do is we don't talk over the host, and we definitely don't talk over the host with a continuous, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. Now, I can bring up the data for you if you like, which is no problem. I don't really have to prove anything to you. It's really easy. You have a Google machine yourself. You can look it up. More than 50% of Black men are single. I'm one of them, with no kids, and we can prove it. Now, that being said, also, the majority of women walking away from marriages happen to be the women. 70% initiate the divorce. So when we do get married, it's the women that walk away. Now, this is common knowledge at this point. This is common knowledge. Okay. So if we're going to have this conversation, we have to have this conversation in fact and not feelings. Wrench, what would you like to add?
I'm sorry.
Real quick. No, hold on. Wrench, what would you like to add? Go ahead.
No, you see, you're
Wrench, what would you go ahead? Wrench, what would you like to add, bro?
So I think this is a prime example, bro, of all of the conversations that we're having right now, bro. In all honesty, it would be if sisters had come out and said, you know what, you guys are right. We were duped. Damn, we fell for the banana in the tailpipe. How do we move differently? What do we need to do to fix relationships and start fixing the family structure? That would be too much like right. But a prime example from the sister that's on the panel, when you have an opportunity to listen to the conversation, provide some feedback and take feelings out of it, I think that's where you start to see a clashing where we're using data, and a lot of times they're coming in with feelings, and that's where the frustration comes in for a lot of men, is saying, hey, put your feelings to the side and just focus on the data. And I even had to learn it on my end, where I would be having discussions with women and it would always revert back to feelings versus data and stats. So I think this is a prime example of what the disconnect is with a lot of brothers and sisters.
It really is. But